Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Owl Talk podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Camilleri. I serve as the Director of Alumni Engagement and Annual Giving. Our guest for today's episode is Bill Eisiminger, an alumnus from Theta Beta chapter at Saginaw Valley State. Bill is joining us today to give us some insight into his career as a mortgage broker. Thank you, Bill, for being on here.
And thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to not only have a fellow chapter brother on here, but someone who actually got me to join the organization. So it's kind of cool that it's coming full circle here.
It really is, man. Just knowing that you were a pledge and now we're working for nationals this many years later, it's awesome how it worked out for everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, Bill, why don't you give our listeners a little background on yourself? Maybe your time at Saginaw Valley, your time as a Sigma Pi, and kind of what led you to your current career path.
Yeah, of course. So I went to Saginaw Valley about 2010, and joining a fraternity was never really on the top of my mind. But then I just went to some events on campus, and I saw the camaraderie of the brothers, and just realized it was something that I was missing. Coming from always being in sports, just having a good brotherhood around you is something that's invaluable. So joining the fraternity was definitely the greatest thing I did in college. And after I graduated, it was actually an alumni, Stuart Allen, who got me a job at Quicken Loans. So that connection helped me right away. And I worked at Quicken Loans for about 3.5 years and just decided, you know what? I have the knowledge in the industry. I'm spending at least 12 hours in the office a day. So I'm just going to go and try this thing on my own and become a mortgage broker.
Would you say that your time as the chapter president kind of helped you, kind of branch off and wanna lead?
Oh, 100%, 100%. It gives you the confidence, just to be able to speak in front of a lot of people, just brothers alone. And then I had to do a lot of things on campus to where I was speaking to people, in higher ranks, like the vice president or swag or, people like that, to where when you're 18, 19, it gets you more comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's so important, I believe.
Yeah, no, honestly, I could not agree more. It really helps you, branch out of your comfort zone a little bit and helps you kind of just grow as a professional.
100%. It's priceless stuff. What you learn in college, I had a degree in marketing and management and all of that, but being around different people, being in organizations, organizing fundraisers and stuff like that, that stuff is invaluable, and you can't get that through a degree. You have to be able to do those type of things outside of the classroom and build those skills, and I think the fraternity is by far the best way to do that.
Yeah, I could not agree more. So, Bill, as you know, the housing market has been pretty wild lately. What can you share about the market and the current interest rates?
The market's crazy right now, man. There's not a lot of inventory out there. So people are getting pre-approved, going to look for a house, and then it's gone by the time they want to even go schedule a viewing with their realtor. So
Right.
if you're very interested in getting a house, get pre-approved right away. And if you see a house you love, go look now and put an offer in now, because offers are getting accepted in 24, 48 hours. And rates are raising 100%. But if you see the house of your dreams, that doesn't mean you should just pass on it because of a rate, because it's just like the stock market. They go up and down. You can always refinance. And when you're working with a broker like myself, I'm always going to be tracking that for you. So once the rates are low enough, I have it in my tracker. I see it. We can do a refinance at zero cost when the time is right. And boom, you're good. A lot of people are scared away from higher rates, but historically, they're still low. It's a write-off on your taxes. And at the end of the day, it's not permanent. So that shouldn't scare you away if you find the house of your dreams.
Gotcha. Okay, that's definitely some good advice for our listeners.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are, wanting to buy a house right now. What other advice can you give to someone who's about to start that process of house hunting and, trying to be approved for a loan?
Make sure you save your money. A lot of people, blinds can cost you $5,000, right? You never want to purchase, budget aside. Oh yeah, well your down payment can be 3%. You got to remember you have homeowners insurance and property taxes, and then when you get into the house, you're gonna want to remodel things, buy furniture, and all of that. So make sure you save up. You talk to a loan officer so you get a better idea of what your closing costs will be, and don't have any 30-day lates on your credit card. Because if you miss just a date by 5 to 10 days, you're fine. You may get a fee, which stinks, but a 30-day late can impact your credit score a lot. So make sure that you do not let that happen.
Okay. Yeah, definitely some good advice for our listeners. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
So, Bill, what would you say is the difference between a mortgage broker and a loan officer?
So if you were to just call into your bank, like a lot of people do, you're going to talk to a loan officer. Well, I was going to say a name, but I'll leave it out. But if you just call into your bank and they'll say, okay, give me your information, they'll pull your credit, they'll look at your income and your assets, and then they'll say, boom, this is our rate sheet, and this is what you get. One thing. If you call a broker, we work on the wholesale side. So that means I get all of your information, the same things, but I'm able to go shop that across 10 different banks across the nation. And being that I've done this so long, if you have a 780 credit score, you have 20% down, I already know what bank is going to go for that client.
Right.
Now, if someone else calls me, not everybody has that. You have a 640 credit, you only have enough for 3% down, I'm going to take you to a completely different bank, right? Every different bank has different rates for the better person in their eyes, right? So if you were to just call one place, you're stuck with one rate sheet. Plus, you see all these advertising around for all these big banks and stuff, and mortgage companies, they got to pay for that somehow, right? And the way they pay for that is through your closing costs. When you work with a local broker like myself, we don't have that huge overhead. So we're able to offer lower rates. We still make our commission, and you're helping a local small business. So it's a win-win for everybody.
No, that's really good advice there. I did not know the difference between the two. So I appreciate you answering that for us.
Yeah, for sure. And there's brokers in different fields as well, like insurance. That's a big one too. So if you were just to call in directly, one company may not cover what you need, the other one might. And a broker can help you find that.
Perfect. Finally, Bill, last question here for you. Anyone listening to this that's thinking of going into this industry, what would you say are some tips to kind of boost their career?
I think the biggest tip I have is not like just for the industry. I think it's for anybody that's trying to get into something is don't be afraid to fail and always be asking questions. No one's going to ever go into a career just knowing exactly what they're going to do and how to do it. And everyone has to miss shots and learn somehow. So just be confident. And if you work hard, you'll make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's some great advice. Really do take that to heart. That wraps up our interview for the day. We look forward to giving you insight into more careers in the future. Again, thank you, Bill, for joining us to discuss your career as a mortgage broker. And thank you to our listeners for joining us for this episode of the Owl Talk podcast. Please make sure you hit subscribe and leave a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform. And as always, I believe.